Welcome to our session. I'm Dong Li, Partner GPM of Azure AI Speech. Today, I will walk you through how to transform your agentic apps with Voice API in AI Foundry. We will begin with an overview of Azure AI Speech, introduce newly announced APIs, and wrap up with resources for further exploration. On Monday, Satya announced this new Azure AI Foundry visual, and I'd like to use it as you are here at the starting point, a wayfinder to ground us. Azure AI Speech is a key Azure AI service. For those of you, if you have already used the Speech service and are familiar with Speech Studio, we are very excited to let you know we have transitioned all trial experience into AI Foundry. You can try it out today. Let's start from a product overview. Azure AI Speech is a unified service that offers comprehensive suite of speech capabilities and APIs designed to support a wide range of scenarios. First, speech to text. It offers real-time speech streaming transcription and file-based fast transcription and large volume files batch transcription, and customization with your own data for domain-specific accuracy. Second, text-to-speech. It including a broad selection of pre-built voices, and you can create customer voice, either brand voice or personal voice. And also, we offer TTS Avatar for you to add natural and multimodal interaction. Third, speech translation. To tackle the language barrier in the communication, we offer real-time speech-to-text translation and speech-to-speech translation. Especially today, we are announcing a new video translation API. It translates video into multiple languages with a single API. Most importantly, we are excited to announce a new API called the Voice Live API. It's a real-time unified API to integrate all speech capabilities plus general AI. It enables developers to easily develop voice-enabled AI services, AI agents. Now, let's take a look at a demo from Pacers Sports and Entertainment, who use Azure Speech real-time speech transcription and translation to provide accessible captions and subtitles for all audiences.
Pacers Sports Entertainment is all about creating unforgettable fan experiences. Our job is to put on a good show for everybody every time they come to a game.
We saw there was a significantly underserved segment that came to our events that loved everything about what happened here, but wanted to have the full experience just like everybody else.
There aren't very many arenas that account for the art of hearing. We teamed up with Microsoft to build a real-time speech-to-text solution using Azure AI Speech and Azure AI Foundry. This gave us the tools to quickly build a custom solution. We leveraged pre-built models and trained them on hundreds of hours of Pacers and Fever game calls.
The ability to be able to toggle languages is new. Those types of services we really see being valuable when we host international events.
In a matter of weeks, we boosted accuracy from 91% to nearly 99% and cut response times from seconds to milliseconds.
To be able to put on a show, to put on an experience for fans that's creating memories for them is one of my favorite things to do.
Thanks to Pacers for such inspiring examples. Beyond that, we are seeing more use cases powered by Azure AI Speech, and along with a few amazing customers who bring them to life. Today, some of them will share demos with us. Some will join us live to showcase how they are using it in real-world scenarios. Now, let's talk about the video translation service. It tackles the challenges of making video accessible to more global audience. Its key features include large language model-powered contextual-aware translation and with audio-video synchronization. Second, the translated video uses expressive TTS voice that preserve the original speaker's voice, emotion, tone, and with lip sync capability available. It supports more than 70 languages, multiple video format, and available in about 10 Azure regions. This service is available in two forms. One is as an API within AI Azure Speech, and as a pre-built agent in agent category in AI Foundry. Since its public preview at Ignite last November, over 700 customers have adopted the video translation service across industries from education, media, and enterprise, marketing, and training. Now, let's see how LinkedIn uses technology to translate more than 23,000 learning courses to accelerate the access of the content to worldwide.
At LinkedIn Learning, we aim to reach the global workforce by making high-quality videos accessible to learners worldwide. Microsoft's video translation service enables us to translate thousands of hours of content quickly and efficiently, reaching more learners and breaking language barriers at scale.
In life, there are rules and then there's guidelines. 직장 냉장고 뒤 음식은 먹지 말라는 것입니다. 미국에서는 프라이버시가 단지 지침에 불과합니다. Non ci sono le regole rigide e veloci che vedi in altri paesi. Banyak perusahaan besar bebas mengumpulkan data Anda. Mereka dapat menggunakan data tersebut untuk melatih model AI mereka dan bahkan menjual data Anda.
This was exciting demo, right? So now, let's deep dive into the developer experience. There are two ways to integrate video translation into your platform and your application. The first is to use REST API to enable video translation into your applications. First, just upload your video file to Azure Blob Storage. Then use the code to sample code to configure your target languages and the doubling options. For example, you can choose whether you want to use pre-built voice or personal voice. And you can, after set up the target languages, if you don't specify source files, language, and speakers, the service can automatically recognize the languages and also do the speaker derivation. The last step, you can just use the URL, the video file URL, to invoke the API. We offer two forms of the interaction. So beside that, we also offer the playground experience in AI Foundry. You can do the prototype and validate your setup before calling the API. The other way is to use the semantic kernel SDK to embed the video translation into your agentic app. For this one, we provide a sample code. This is the template. First step, you just create a general conversational agent, and then you can add this video translation plugin into the API template, and then you can just invoke the agent. With that, you will integrate it seamlessly into an agent conversational experience. With that, I will hand over to our product manager, Hasia, who will talk about new Voice Live API to build voice agents. Hasia, hand over to you.
Thanks, Dong. Hello, everyone. Hello to everyone here and also to everybody watching us online today. So let's talk about voice agents. Voice agents are agents that users can interact with naturally and conversationally using just their voice. From an end user perspective, voice is also becoming the preferred mode of interaction. For example, it enables speed, convenience, and also accessibility. We're seeing increasing demand across several domains and several industries. For example, customer service. Think about building a contact center where your users are calling in to get some help. Being able to power that through a voice agent is extremely empowering. Or automotive. Think about an in-car assistant where you can go and talk to your assistant completely hands-free. Education technology is also another scenario where there's lots of scenarios where there's learning about new languages or learning a whole new topic that you're interested in, all powered by generative AI. There's many other scenarios as well, for example, personal assistants, public services, and human resources, some of which we'll see in a few demo videos later on today. Now, despite the demand that we see, we've also been talking to a lot of developers and customers just like yourselves. And we see that there's still lots of challenges in being able to build out production-grade voice agents. For example, there's a need to have high accuracy of audio input and transcripts so that you can best understand domain-specific terms and terminology. On the audio output side, there's also a need to have customizable voices that best represents your brand, your image, and your personality. On the generative AI model side, there's so many factors that you as developers need to go and think about. Things like latency, cost, the level of intelligence, and so having flexibility in which models you can go and run is super critical. If we take this over to the user interaction side, there's also a need to ensure that your end users can be in any environment and still have a positive experience. This includes being able to handle different types of background noise, different acoustics, and still have a high quality signal of when they're speaking versus when they're not. And lastly, but not the very least, the ability to have immersive experiences. If you're building experiences in an application that's powered on your phone or on your PC or any other display like a kiosk, for example, it's critical that you can provide this human nature and visual interaction there. All of this is on top of being able to have low engineering cost, fast time to market, and low end user perceived latency. So to address these challenges, I'm super excited to announce the Voice Live API, which is in public preview as of build. This is a single API where you can build voice agents completely from scratch, or you can easily add voice to existing text-based agents. Let's check it out.
Welcome to the next evolution in voice technology, Azure AI Voice Live API from Microsoft. Powered by generative AI, this API transforms everyday voice interactions into engaging, natural conversations. Live, smooth, fast. With over 600 lifelike voices and 151 languages and locales, Voice Live allows businesses to localize and personalize customer interactions, enhancing clarity and emotional connection. A single API unlocks speech-to-speech magic from call centers to connected cars, boosting customer satisfaction and scaling intelligence support like never before. No delays, no chaos, just seamless integration. Bring your brand to life with customized voices, noise suppression, and even expressive avatars. Every word perfectly delivered. Transform text-based agents into customized voice-enabled agents, powered by foundation models using just a few lines of code. Your brand, your voice, reimagined. Start building with Voice Live API in Azure AI Foundry today.
All right, so this is a single unified API that provides you with the ability to build speech-to-speech experiences. It includes the options to use the amazing power of Azure AI speech-to-text technologies for audio input and also for audio output, all of the text-to-speech voices that we have from Azure AI text-to-speech. And both of these can be customized for your scenario. You also have the choice of generative AI models, which includes Microsoft's very own Phi as a small language model. And beyond this, to ensure that you're ready for prime time, we've built in a lot of conversational enhancements, things like noise suppression, echo cancellation, both of which run completely on the server side to make it easier for you, and also higher quality signals for when users are speaking versus they finish speaking. Additionally, you can also give your voice agents a visual embodiment through our avatar feature. And lastly, to meet you exactly where you're building your agents, we also have seamless integrations with the Azure Foundry Agent Service and Semantic Kernel so that you can add voice in and voice out capabilities without having to re-architect your entire tech stack. And before I go ahead and show you how to get started in the Azure AI Foundry with the VoiceLive API, I'd like to introduce Prem from Gainsight, and he's going to show us exactly how they've used a VoiceLive API to power some key scenarios for them. Prem, over to you.
Thank you, Hassia. Thank you all for coming, and Hassia, thank you for having us. So before I start, I wanted to tell you something interesting that happened during rehearsal yesterday. So we were doing a run-through of this demo with Hassia and team, and Hassia basically told us, hey, all the other demos that we have seen here, they are very developer-focused, and people are getting down into the code. I really wish what you guys are showing would be more interesting to developers. So we said, well, why not try that? So we're going to try something that we built overnight. So wish us luck. And I would like to quickly introduce you to Srini, who's going to be helping me run through all of this stuff. Awesome. OK. So let me start by telling you a little bit about Gainsight and customer success management. So customer success management as a field was born in the SaaS era. When software started being sold as subscriptions, what it did was companies had to make sure that customers renewed their subscriptions every year. And the customers who did not renew were called to be churned. So this was the primary function of customer success managers, to make sure that churn is low and renewals are high. And so when customer success management software started, there were basically a bunch of custom fields and objects on your customer's system of record, and they were very simple. Over time, this grew, and we added and started tracking a bunch of metrics like NPS scores, health scores, GRR, NRR, and a new software category was born called Customer Success Management Platforms, and CSPs for short. A new role was created as well, called the Chief Customer Officer. This was a C-suite role, CCO for short, and Gainsight is the leading provider of customer success management platform software. Okay, so what does a CSM do? A CSM does a little bit of everything. The CSM's primary job is to make sure that their customer is able to use their software and be successful in achieving the outcomes and accomplishing the goals for which they bought their software. That is their primary goal. And they do this by working with different teams. They work across different systems, which is why we kind of call them as a jack of all trades. They have to make sure that the product is fully adopted, everyone is onboarded, and there could be risks that show up. A new executive could come in and say, oh, I use this competitive software at a different company, maybe we should try it. Now, these are the kind of things that a CSM does, and they do this so that when renewal time comes, it goes around without a hiccup. Okay, so I'm going to continue talking, but I'm going to move our interface so that I can do the demo. Let me make sure that I'm pressing the right button. Okay, we're just going to wait for something to happen here. So this is the demo part. Let's hope that it works. So I was just telling you guys about what a CSM does. So as you can see, what the CSM does is a very complex set of activities. You need a diverse set of skills to be able to do it. So for most of the time, this was a very human-led activity. And because of this, companies were able to provide this white glove service for their largest customers, their enterprises. Okay, I'm going to quickly take this call. Hello?
Hello, Matthew Einstein. This is the renewal desk at Quantum Solutions. I'm calling to ensure your upcoming renewal goes smoothly and to answer any questions. How can I assist you today?
This sounds like a bot. Can I talk to a person, please?
I can try to help you now, and if you're not satisfied, I'll gladly connect you with a human operator. Would you like to continue with me?
Sure. Can you tell me what this call is about?
I'm calling from Quantum Solutions regarding the renewal of your current license with us. Your contract is set to renew on October 15th, 2025. I'm here to assist with any questions you have and to ensure the renewal process goes smoothly. How can I assist you further?
Actually, I'm thinking, what would it take for me to downgrade a few licenses? Can I do that?
I'm not authorized to reduce license counts directly.
All right, fine.
I can schedule a call.
I looked at the website, and there are a few additional features that I'd like to buy. Can you help me with that?
I'm not able to add new products directly.
All right. Can you just add a few licenses?
Certainly. How many additional licenses would you like to add?
10?
Adding 10 licenses will bring your total to 460. The new annual amount will be calculated based on your current pricing. Would you like me to check if you're eligible for a volume discount?
No, I think this is good. Thank you.
Great. I'll find out.
All right. So let's actually do something interesting. If you guys can participate in this, can somebody give me a name of a company, like a fictitious company? Contoso. Okay, Contoso. So Contoso. Give me another company that would be buying Contoso software. Don't tell me Trey Research. Northwind. Okay, Northwind. Give me a name and number of licenses. 15 licenses? Okay. All right, let me continue with the demo. And let me go back. All right. So as I was saying, the work that a CSM does, because it is so complex, it was human-led and people-heavy. So you cannot do this for your small and medium customers because you cannot afford to hire the number of people to be able to do this activity. So what did companies do? We obviously tried to use plain old automation that kind of worked, but it did not make a huge impact. So this long tail of customers is essentially underserved. So what is our solution? So what we did was, actually before that, all of us have had this experience where we come across somebody who is very talented, a high performer, and we said to ourselves, gosh, I could just, if only I could just clone this person. So that's what we thought we would do. What if you could take your best customer success manager and teach them all the best practices of customer success as an industry and make them available to all of your customers, regardless of their size and how much they're paying you? With agents, that's actually possible. Now, you might be wondering, so why does this matter? We're talking about the long tail, and in the long tail, they constitute about 80% of most SaaS businesses' customers by volume, but they're also 20% of their revenue, which means on a total of $300 billion of annual spend on SaaS, this is about $50 billion. So we believe that by using agents and producing great outcomes for in customer success, we have the ability to impact about 10 to 20 billion. Is the demo ready? Okay. I'm going to switch back. I think this is actually demo time, so we'll just do that. Oops. Call again. I could not move the mouse fast enough. Okay, while we do that. Hello?
Hello, Prem. This is the renewal. Hello, Prem. How can I assist you with your upcoming renewal today?
Can you tell me where you're calling from?
I'm calling from the renewal desk at Contoso. How can I assist you with your license renewal today?
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yes, I'm speaking with Prem from Northwind. How can I assist you with your renewal?
Okay, what is this call about?
This call is regarding the upcoming renewal of your licenses with us at Contoso. I'm here to ensure the renewal process goes smoothly and to assist with any questions or changes you might have. How can I assist you today?
Oh, I actually forgot how many licenses we have. How many licenses do we have?
You currently have 15 licenses.
All right, I'm going to hang up. So the reason we showed this demo was a lot of the technology that we are using comes default with what we are building on Microsoft, and it's actually very easy to start working on this. I know obviously we cannot put this into production right away. There is all the guardrails you have to build around this, make sure that you have your evals and everything. But what we'd like to encourage you to do is that some of these use cases were not possible even like a month ago. So I think you should try these use cases and and try to stay on the frontier. All right. So I'm going to quickly go through the rest. So basically, by using agents, the big difference that we have is previously we used to sell software and people had to work on it, whereas now we have the ability to actually sell work. And how are we building this? So Gainsight is a multi-product company, and we have products that help customers across the post-sales journey. So we have all the data that we need to operate on, and we have built a data lake and a data cloud on top of it that provides the data in a format that the intelligent layers on top of that can use. Currently, this intelligence is actually acted upon by humans. We have dashboards, and people create call to actions and playbooks. Our idea with the agentic layer using Microsoft's technology is to be able to build agents that operate on this intelligence for the long tail. This is the architecture diagram, but as you can see, it's actually fairly simple. A lot of the stuff that we use comes out of the box, and it's just configuration. So the VoiceLive API has hooks to search and responses, so you can basically configure everything, and most of it kind of works out of the box. All right, I'm going to show one quick demo, and then I will give it back to Hasya. So one thing I wanted to quickly show is just to show you how easy it is. Like this is the actual prompt that we wrote at like 9 a.m. in the morning to see if we could run this live demo, which is we said, hey, we're going to ask the audience for a few details and see if we can incorporate that. So that's what it is. And then below that, you can actually see that this call transcript is actually run through another layer, which then generates a summary that can be acted on by a fulfillment agent to send a link to the renewal, or it can create a call to action so that a human CSM can then act on it. So I wanted to quickly show that. And then the other demo is going to be, oops. All right. There's a little trick here, so let me try this. He doesn't want to speak. Hello.
Hello. How can I assist you with Gainsight today?
Hey, can you tell me how to use dashboards in Gainsight?
Let me pull up that information for you. To use dashboards in Gainsight, you can view available dashboards, adjust filters, and export reports. Dashboards help you visualize data and insights.
Filters are awesome.
Would you like me to?
Can you tell me how to use global filters?
Let me find the details you need. Global filters in Gainsight allow you to apply filters across multiple reports in a dashboard. You can create and configure these filters in the dashboard
you know what?
builder.
I think
Would
all
you
of
like?
this is very confusing. Is there a way I can visualize this better?
I understand it can be confusing. I found a helpful video that demonstrates how to use global filters in Gainsight. Would you like me to play this video for you?
Oh, that'll be awesome. All right, I learned everything about global filters. Thank you. You can close the video now.
I'm glad the video was helpful. I've closed the video. Do you have any more questions about Gainsight?
No, thank you. Hi, so this is the same technology and the same live voice API that we used in the previous demo, but this is connected to the avatar. And with that, I'll give it back to invite Hasia back. Thank you. This is my water. Thank you. Did that go over?
I'll go ahead and now show you the Voice Live API in the Azure AI Foundry and show you all of the different things that you can go ahead and toggle and tune to make sure that your scenario is up and running. So here I've got our speech playground in Azure AI Foundry. And here you'll see the Voice Live feature that has everything built in. On the left side, you'll see a few pre-built samples. For example, language learning, customer service, casual chat with an assistant, or you can completely start from scratch. We'll go ahead and play around with the customer service one here. And on the right side, you'll see that we have a drop-down for GenAI models. And this is where the flexibility of GenAI models really comes into play. So here you'll see GPT-4o, 4o mini. You can also bring your own agent, which I'll show you in just a little bit. And Phi will be in this UI very shortly just after build. Beyond this, we can go ahead and configure our speech capabilities as well. And we've chosen Andrew as our HD voice here, but you'll see that there's many, many other voices built in out of the box for you to tap into. Now, all of these voices that you see here are all multilingual, which means that you don't have to actually provide which locale or language your agent is speaking. The voice can automatically adapt as the input language from your users also changes. We can configure things like our voice activity detection or the start of speech. We can use Azure Semantic VAD. We've got audio enhancements as well. And by turning this on, this is where we can get noise suppression and echo cancellation running fully through the server side. Now, Andrew, as our agent here, he's been asked and tasked with being a very friendly and knowledgeable travel agent. And so that's the context within which he is going to be operating under. So let's go ahead and click apply, and then we can get started here.
Hello, I'm Andrew, your friendly travel agent. Where are you planning your next adventure? And what kind of experience are you looking for?
Hey,
I'd love
Andrew,
to help
I'm
you plan
trying
the
to
perfect.
take a trip to Singapore at the end of August and early September with my fiance. Can you tell me if that's a good time to visit
That
Singapore?
sounds fantastic. Yes, late August to early September is a good time to visit Singapore. The weather is generally warm and humid year-round, but you'll be there just after the peak tourist season, so it might be a bit less crowded. Plus, you'll get to experience the tail end of the Great Singapore Sale, which is perfect if you enjoy shopping.
Awesome. So really quick interaction of just being able to talk to a voice agent there. Now, one of the really cool things that you can do, as I was mentioning earlier, is creating a custom voice. And so let me show you what I've done here. To show you the power of that, I've actually created a custom voice of myself. And so there's two voices here. One is a standard voice, and one is an HD voice. Let me show you some of the training data that went into this. It's very simple. I've recorded about 300 sentences that I spoke, and these are individual audio files. Let me show you one example of what we gave it as a training data point.
How can I help you?
That's one. Let's say we'll do another one here.
Where shall we have lunch?
Awesome. So this is the training data that was provided. Now I'll go back into our playground with the Voice Live API, and what I've done is in the voice section, I've gone and selected my HD voice. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. It's going to feel like I'm talking to myself, but let's check it out and see how that goes. Again, this is still Andrew, so he's still going to be, he'll say he's Andrew, but it's actually my voice.
Hello there. I'm Andrew, your friendly travel agent. Where are you planning to travel, or do you need some destination inspiration? I'm here to help with anything from trip ideas to travel tips.
Are you sure you're Andrew? You sound a lot like myself.
I'm definitely Andrew, your travel agent. I'm here to assist you with travel plans and make your next trip unforgettable.
Awesome. So that's our custom neural voice that you can easily plug in just at a configuration level. Now, another cool thing is you can bring your own agent. Now, you might have heard about the Foundry agent service as part of a lot of the other talks and also the keynote. We've built two different agents here already, Agent 587 and 256. Let's look into Agent 256. This one is set up with GPT-4o. It's being asked to be an engaging and resourceful chef that specializes in Indian cuisine. We've also given it a knowledge source. And so this knowledge source is going to be grounding its information based on data from Bing, in case there's any real-time information that we need. Now here, typically with agents, you would go and play around with them in the agent playground, which looks like this. And here we've also built in our voice mode. Now when you click this button here, this will activate the Voice Live API, and that'll make Voice Live API act as a front end and give you voice in, voice out capabilities to your agent that you've already built. This is a lightweight implementation here. If we actually want to toggle all of the other settings that I showed you earlier, we can go back into the speech playground. So this is the same one that I talked to you earlier. All I will do is go change my GenAI model to instead be bring my agent, change this agent to Agent 256, and if all goes well, when this agent introduces themselves, they'll say they're Joey and that they focus on Indian cuisine. But it'll still sound like me, so let's check it out.
Hello, welcome. I'm Joey, your guide to exploring the flavorful world of Indian cuisine. Let me know what you'd like to learn about or cook today, and I'll assist you step by step.
Awesome. So that is just a very easy integration with the Foundry agent service, and you can add voice in and voice out to those text-based agents there. I'll switch back now. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about the voices, especially since I've just shown you what my voice had sounded like when I had customized it. So by default and out of the box, we have our most latest generation of text-to-speech voices called our Neural HD voices. These are LLM-based, and that means that we can make them ultra-realistic and make them emotionally enhanced. They're also contextually aware, which means that you don't have to individually go in and tune things like the pace, the intonation, or any other elements of prosody. Just based on the words that the voice is outputting, it will automatically make those adjustments for you. And the amazing thing is that these voices are also multilingual. So from a single voice, you can power more than 100 locales. We have 35 of these voices already built in out of the box today. And this is on top of the 600 plus standard voices that we offer across 150 plus locales. Now, one of the most important and perhaps most impactful features that will be interesting for a lot of the use cases that you're looking at is customization. And this is customization end-to-end for voice agents. Let's start with speech input. On the input side, we can have boosted accuracy of words that are specific to your industry or your use case by using a feature that we have called phrase list. This is very lightweight. It's just-in-time customization where you provide a list of phrases or words that you'd like to recognize with higher accuracy. Examples typically include proper nouns, product names, homonyms, and so on. You can also do custom voice. So you saw that I had a custom HD voice. And actually, I'd like to announce today that custom Neural HD voices are also now in public preview. On the avatar side, you can also customize these. So in Prem's demo, you had seen one of our pre-built avatars. You can bring in your own talent and create an avatar that best represents your brand and your personality. And for avatars, we're also announcing a whole new feature today called Voice Sync. With this, you can train an avatar and a custom neural voice in a single step using the same set of data. So this gives you a lot of efficiencies in getting faster time to market. All right, and I'm sure you're all wondering, what does all of this mean from a developer experience perspective? What is the code that goes behind this? When we thought about our developer experience, we had two main principles. We wanted to keep it familiar and also keep it simple. And so we've built our developer experience and API on top of the real-time API and the WebSocket interface that exists there. And what we've done is we've added additional parameters on top of that that are simple but super powerful. Let's walk through some examples. One of the first steps that you'll want to do is have your choice of the GenAI model. And this is as simple as just updating the model as part of your connection string when you're setting things up. Here is where you would specify whether you want GPT-4o, 4o mini, or Phi. And the really nice thing is that you can build out your entire voice agent, take in all of the other parameters, like for example, which voice do you want to use? What is the type of start-of-speech detection you like to use? All of those things can stay exactly the same, and you can toggle it between different models over time. This allows you to go and experiment with different models to understand different capabilities from them, and also figure out what is the best path for your scenarios. On the audio output side, a lot of multimodal LLMs today that inherently produce output will have built-in voices. You can definitely tap into those, but if you wanted to go and tap into our Azure Voices instead, it's very, very simple to do so. When you're creating your session configuration object, there's just a few lines of code that you would add here to specify, I'd like to use an Azure Standard Voice, and here's the name of that voice. If you have a custom voice instead, it doesn't get too much more complicated beyond that. You just have one additional parameter there to specify an endpoint ID, which represents where your model is deployed once you've created it in Azure AI Foundry. And the beauty of all of this is no matter which voice you choose and how you toggle between them, there's no additional development effort that's needed from you. The VoiceLive API and the service that backs it takes care of all of the orchestration on your behalf, meaning you will always get the best implementation that is highly efficient and the lowest end user perceived latency. And on PhraseList, this is the input customization side. Let's say you are Contoso Inc., our favorite company, and you have a rewards program called Contoso Cash. And it's super critical that when people reach out to you, to your voice agent to handle requests, you have to recognize it with high accuracy so you can answer their questions. And it's also critical for this to be well represented in your transcripts. So if you do any post analytics, you can also make sure that everything is taken care of. So the experience here, also very simple. It's one parameter. It's an array of strings. You simply provide which phrases are important to you and you want to boost your accuracy for, and we will take care of the rest and ensure that happens for you. On the conversational enhancement side, it spans across three main categories. First is how do we detect when you've started to speak as an end user? Second is when have you finished speaking? And third is audio enhancement to clean up that audio signal. One of the most critical ones here is going to be on the end of speech side. And it's really important to be semantic and contextual in nature here. Let's take an example. A lot of contact centers, you'll often have customers talking to you and reaching out, and they'll be saying their phone number. Let's take a US-based phone number as an example. Typically, that's 10 digits. And so people will say that with 3 digits to start off with, take a brief pause, the next 3 digits, take a brief pause, and then the last 4 digits. Now, it's super important that you don't cut off the end user as you're taking those slightly longer pauses. But at the same time, you want to make sure that if they're saying a different sentence and they've taken a brief pause, you want to make sure you're not paying a latency cost for it at the same time. And that's why this dynamic nature of understanding when should we actually say, yep, the user stopped finished speaking is critical. And this is where we built our own semantic end of turn detection system. On the audio enhancement side, noise suppression, echo cancellation both run completely server side. Which means that you don't have to do any client-side work to make this happen. And this is critical for echo cancellation because for anybody that's worked in audio processing, most likely, and most traditionally, you would have had to provide a loopback signal or a reference signal. You don't have to do any of that with this API because we know what the output is from the agent. We can directly go and cancel that out for you. And configuring that, as you can see on the screen here, very simple. You just tell it, here is the configuration I want. I do want noise suppression, or I also want echo cancellation. Moving to avatars, also not much more difficult. It's a super powerful feature, but to enable it, think about just 3 or 4 lines of configuration code where you specify what character you want, what is the style between casual or youthful or many of the other ones that we provide out of the box. And if it's customized, then that's where you'd have to provide your deployment ID or endpoint ID, so we can make sure we can call it directly on our end. There will, of course, always be some client-side code that you have to take care of to render that avatar as a video, but there's lots of sample code that we also make available on GitHub to make sure that you have a great starting point. All right. Now, I'd also shown you in the Azure AI Foundry about connecting voice in and voice out to agents that you've built using the Foundry agent service. So I'll take you back to when we had configured models. Now, instead of providing a model directly here, you can simply just provide information about your agent. For example, your agent project name, the agent ID, and the access tokens so that we can authenticate to it. What this allows you to do is you can keep your agent completely as is in the Foundry agent service. That includes your knowledge sources, any of the connections you've made there, any of the grounding data, and so on. And the VoiceLive API now gives you all of the benefits that we've just talked about now. For example, the start of speech, end of speech, noise suppression, echo cancellation, and so on. So both of these can completely stay untouched, but now you have a very, very seamless interaction where you can add voice and voice out capabilities there. If you're building using semantic kernel, you may be familiar with out-of-the-box AI connectors. Now, traditionally, there's been chat completions, text embeddings, and many other connectors there. We're also now introducing an out-of-box connector for the Voice Live API. With this, you can either start fresh, and you can use the Voice Live API to build agents directly. So you would have the Voice Live API connector, you have your plugins, your code, and your hooks and filters, and now you have an entire agent there. Or if you've already built an agent before using the semantic kernel SDK, you can keep a lot of these components as is. For example, your plugins and your native code, your hooks and filters, you can maintain that directly. The only thing you would need to swap out is the connector you're using instead. And that's essentially the beauty of the semantic kernel SDK. Now, we've talked about a lot of these scenarios, one of which is contact centers and call centers. So how do we connect the Voice Live API with telephony? The demo that Prem actually showed, the very first one, where we got a Teams call, that was powered through Azure Communication Services. It's the connection of Azure Communication Services with the Voice Live API, because that actually has a telephony channel there. And so the idea of saying, I want to have a contact center, there's a phone number, you can use Azure Communication Services bidirectional audio streaming API that can feed audio to your web app, and you can then marshal that audio to the Voice Live API. It's super simple to get this started. You can bring your own phone number, ask ACS to go and configure one for you, or even do this through voice over IP. And we've got sample code on GitHub for this as well, so you can get started and add the telephony channel to your voice agents. All right, lots to unpack there. Let's take a quick break and hear from the government of Malta and see how they're leveraging the Voice Live API.
MIDA is the government of Malta's IT agency, responsible for implementation of IT programs, digital services and initiatives to enhance public service delivery through digital transformation of the public administration. We are collaborating with Microsoft to improve the Maltese language support in the Azure AI Voice Live API, which provides real-time voice interactions, leveraging advanced speech-to-text and conversational AI capabilities. This technology will power our customer-facing avatars that provide human-like responses to citizen queries, improving overall user experience and more timely responses. Our national language, Maltese, is widely used. However, the API's multilingual support ensures accessibility for everyone using government's public services. We plan to expand the use of this technology across various departments, which bridges the digital divide and allow everyone to benefit from the effectiveness and personalized experience of the next generation of digital public services.
Bonġu, x'tip ta' mistoqsijiet nista' nsaqsik?
Tista' tistaqsini dwar is-servizzi li toffri Mita kif tapplika għal servizzi speċifiċi, informazzjoni dwar proġetti u inizjattivi ta' Mita kif tuża s-sistemi u l-applikazzjonijiet relatati mal-Gvern u kwalunkwe mistoqsija oħra relatata mal-operazzjonijiet u l-funzjonijiet ta' Mita. Jekk għandek xi mistoqsija speċifika, inkun kuntent li ngħinek.
Good morning. How can you help me?
I can assist you with information and processes related to the Maltese government services. If you have any specific questions or need guidance on a particular service, feel free to ask.
We look forward to continue our collaboration with Microsoft to drive innovation within the Maltese public administration, in line with our Malta Vision 2050.
Now, the super cool thing about that video was that you got to see custom avatars. Those were custom avatars trained by the government of Malta, and you can see how the lip sync was just in place with the audio output provided by the Voice Live API. Let's also take a look at another demo video from Anchor and to see how they're building out personal assistants with their audio devices.
Back then, my hands were full, handling the heavy luggage and my phone at once, and keying in the addresses with mistakes all the time.
Hey, what's my next appointment?
According to your calendar, you have a business meeting at Anchor Shenzhen headquarters at 2:04 p.m. this afternoon.
Hey, get me directions to Anchor Innovations Company.
Sure, starting navigation right away. Gentle reminder that it's a warm 30 degrees Celsius outdoors in Shenzhen today. Time to apply sunblock.
Now with just one line, I immediately know where to go. This seamless interaction sets my hands free.
Since I had these earphones, my efficiency at work has increased significantly. Hey, help me summarize the meeting.
Sure, summarizing right away. Today's meeting recap.
With Azure AI Voice Live API, we use Microsoft Azure AI's speech recognition and text-to-speech language model services to power the voice assistant on the earbuds, a way to allow our ideas to be heard, making collaboration seamless.
All right. Now, to cap it all off, I'd like to please welcome Gerald from Commerce Bank to speak to us about how he's been using the Azure AI Speech Services and the plans for Voice Live API.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Gerald, and I'm responsible for different digital services and products at Commerzbank and our Avatar project. So Commerzbank is the leading bank in Germany for medium-sized companies and a very strong partner for private and business clients with over 400 branches. The digital transformation of our business model is part of our top strategic priorities. And AI is one of the key components. Therefore, let's have a look how does it look like to speak with our avatar.
Hallo, ich bin Ava, Ihre virtuelle Assistentin. Ich bin in der Startphase und kann Ihnen für den Anfang bei ersten Banking-Themen weiterhelfen. Welches Thema interessiert Sie?
Ich würde gerne eine neue Kreditkarte bestellen.
Vielen Dank für Ihr Anliegen. Ich habe verstanden, dass Sie eine neue Karte beantragen möchten. Zu welchem Konto wollen Sie die Karte bestellen?
Gerne für das Klassikkonto.
Sie können eine der folgenden 8 Karten bestellen, die Ihnen auf Ihrem Bildschirm angezeigt werden. Bitte nennen Sie mir die Karte, die Sie nun bestellen möchten.
Gerne die Visa Classic.
Die Karte wird für Ihr Classic-Konto bestellt. Sie haben die Visa Classic für 39,90 € pro Jahr ausgewählt. Wenn Sie damit einverstanden sind, sagen Sie bitte, ja, ich stimme zu und ich sende Ihnen die Fototan zu.
Ja, ich stimme zu. Danke, Ava. Mit Ava geht's so schnell und einfach wie noch nie. Und wenn ich doch mal einen Experten brauche, leitet Ava mich weiter.
Yes. So we introduced our Avatar project the first time in Seattle at the Microsoft Build in November 2023. And now you see we are live. And this is the result of a really amazing project work together with our Microsoft team. We are one of the first banks in using Avatar technology together with generative AI in application which is capable to do transactions. So right now we are able to answer general banking and product questions, and in addition, we are also able to help with customer-specific requests such as the interest rates for a specific account. In addition, as you saw in the video, we are able to do first transactions like the change of a credit card or block or unblock credit cards. And the avatar is also able to bring and, let's say, redirect the customer to a position in the banking app when requested. But there are always some circumstances when we hand over to a human agent, depending on the context. Right now, let's have a look behind the scenes, what is behind the avatar. And behind the avatar, we have different components. So, for example, the generative AI, which is GPT-4o, but also the different speech services, a digitalized person, we using very intensively content safety and evaluation. And in addition, we are using backend applications. The orchestration of all these, let's say, independent components were key for our project, and also the assurance of content safety and regulatory aspects. So right now we have overall very good customer feedback, and currently very deeply analyzing the different feedback. So in one region we would like to be, let's say, a little bit improve the experience is the different speech services. And for this one, we are really looking forward to the new Voice Live API, because this offers a unified interface in addition to reduce latency and also the possibility to interrupt. And this interruption of the conversation with the avatar is one of our next goals, and therefore we are really happy to have this new Voice Live API. Thank you very much for your attention, and hand back to Hassia.
Thanks, Gerald. All right. Yeah, in terms of getting started as next steps for all of you folks, we've got a few links up and running. So the Azure AI Foundry portal that I'd shown earlier and demoed, that's fully live for you to go and try out today. We also have our documentation up and running as well, so feel free to go and check that out. A lot of us from the product team and engineering team will also be at the expert booths, so please come by and visit us after the fact if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to go and answer those questions for you. We're looking forward to you guys building with the Azure Voice Live API and Azure AI Speech Services. Thank you.